Morning students. Today we will discuss about the bubble chamber, spark chamber and last Cherenkov counters. We will discuss one by one. First we will discuss bubble chamber. The basic drawback of cloud chamber is that because of its low density of the gas, it is not possible to observe high energy particles. In 1952, D.A. Glasser, University of Michigan, conceived the idea of using superheated liquid to display the track of ionizing particle. A cloud chamber utilizes a super saturated vapor. The instrument based on this concept is known as bubble chamber. Because the tracks in bubble chamber consist of a series of closely spaced bubbles, whereas in a cloud chamber there are tiny droplets of the liquid. The principle for the bubble chamber on which it is working. So it is based on the principle that under high pressure it is possible to heat a liquid without bubble formations above its normal boiling point. If suddenly pressure is released, the liquid remains in a superheated state for some time. If such a superheated liquid is exposed to ionizing the particles, the ionizing particle produce ion pairs, and these ions act as condensation center for the formation of vapor bubbles along the path of the particles. Now the constructions. The schematic diagram of the bubble chamber as shown in this figure, the main body of the chamber is made up of a stainless steel with thick glass pot G. At the top of a viewing camera, here is a camera. A box of thick walled glass is filled with liquid hydrogen and is connected to the expansion pressure system. In order to maintain the chamber at constant temperature, it is surrounded by liquid nitrogen. Liquid nitrogen is shielded here. High energy particles are allowed to enter the chambers from a side window W. This is a side window W. Working. Initially, the liquid hydrogen is kept under high pressure, but when a charged particle is passing through it, the pressure is released so that the liquid is in superheated state. The liquid vapors get condensed in the form of bubble on the ions formed by ionizing particles, and photographs of the track to be obtained by the camera. So generally, bubble chamber is subject to a strong magnetic field. In order to distinguish the sign of the charge on the ionizing particles and to measure their momentum from the radius of the curvature of the bubble track. The bubble track is checked through the camera. The most commonly used liquid in bubble chamber is liquid hydrogen as shown in the schematic diagrams. Other liquids such as deuteriums, helium, xenones, propanes are also used in some cases. Some of the advantages are listed here. The bubble chamber is sensitive to both high and low ionizing particles. As bubbles grow rapidly, the track formed in bubble chambers are clean and undistorted. So due to high density of the liquid, even high energy cosmic rays can also be recorded in bubble chambers. Limitations. The bubble chambers are very costious, are very expensive detectors. It is very difficult to spend huge amount on the detectors. Second, the time during which the bubble chamber is insensitive only for few milliseconds. During that, the entry of the ionizing particle and the photographing the tracks formed must takes place during this short time. Now switch over to the spark chambers. So spark chamber is also known as image forming detectors. So first principle, a high voltage is maintained between two parallel electrodes in a gas. However, the electric field between the plate is not strong enough to permit the passage of spark. Now, if an ionizing particle enters the gas, it ionizes the gas atoms, creating ion pair along its trajectory. This provides a low resistance path, and due to high voltage across the electrodes, a spark takes place along the trajectory followed by the ionizing particles. Construction of the spark chamber. You see in this diagrams here. Spark chamber consists of a parallel plates of conducting material like aluminiums, spaced about 0.2 cm to 3 cm. The number of plates may range from a few to 100 or more depending upon the nature and purpose of the experiment, the desired experiment. The size of the plate can be large as several square feet in area. Alternate plates are also connected to a high voltage direct pulse generator so that the electric field of the order of 10,000 to 15,000 volt per centimeter can be applied between adjacent pairs of plates. If the spark chamber is generally filled with neon or argon or a mixture of 90% neons and 10% helium. So the schematic of this is here. If you see that in the diagrams, this is a discrimination chamber, trigger unit is here, coincidence unit is here, high voltage supplied here, and scintillation counter is this, and the ionizing particle is here, and scintillation counter is, and photo tube is there. So this is the some schematic, and this has been grounded. So this is the schematic diagrams of the spark chamber. Now the working of this chamber. When high energy particle enter the spark chamber, the scintillation detector outside the chamber send a pulse to high voltage pulse generator, which in turn sends a high voltage pulse to the spark chamber plates. When a high energy charged particle passes through the chamber, it produces large number of ion pairs along its path. A visible spark jump along the path of the ionizing particle between two plates. After that, the camera records the visible track of the particles. Advantages of this chamber. It is capable of fast operations. It provides good definition of direction of the ionizing particles. It is relatively cheaper as compared to the bubble and cloud chambers. Some of the limitations of this spark chamber is there. Coated spark scatter 15 to 20 thousandths of an inch. The path uncertainly increases as the path of the particle becomes parallel to the plates. 3. The last topic for today's class is Cherenkov counters. In 1934, Russian physicist P.A. Cherenkov demonstrated that some transparent dielectric substances, you know that dielectric substances are water, glass, mica, when exposed to gamma rays, it emits a big bluish white light in the visible region. After some time, as the time has gone, it was found that when a charged particle travels through a medium with velocity greater than the velocity of light in that medium means the velocity of light in glass of refractive index is 1.5 is 2 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. It emits the visible radiation. These visible radiations are called Cherenkov radiations. The nature of these radiation is entirely different from that of the fluorescence as well as the Bremsstrahlung. Bremsstrahlung radiation, it does not depend upon the atomic number of the medium in which the charged particle is moving or the mass of the charged particle. The emission of Cherenkov radiation is as explained below. The working of the Cherenkov counters as an electromagnetic pulse associated with fast moving charged particle causes polarization of the atom of the medium by displaying the bound electrons. This time variation of the polarization produced by the field causes the atoms to radiate electromagnetic waves. If the particle is moving slowly, the radiation reaching a distance point interferes destructively and the resultant intensity of the light will be zero. If the velocity of the particle is greater than a cone of the light is emitted. As the mass of the electron is small, the velocity of the electron even at lower kinetic energy is greater than the C upon n, which is the relations. Therefore, the energy loss due to Cherenkov radiations is more important for electrons. Hence, the energy loss due to Cherenkov radiations in case of electron is smaller than due to ionization and Bremsstrahlung. Bremsstrahlung, the topic is also discussed in the previous chapter in highly charged particles. The Cherenkov radiations come out in a cone of high angles theta with the particles at apex as shown in this figure. This angle theta is related to the velocity b of the particle as the formula derived sin theta is equal to c upon n times upon b upon t. Then t can be cancelled here. This is equal to c is equal to n v. We can cancel the t c upon n v. Oh, the visible light emitted can easily be detected and angle should be calculated. This makes that it is possible to measure the speed and the kinetic energy of the particles. These Cherenkov radiations are seen as a bluish glow when intense beam of electron are involved. These apparatus used for the Cherenkov detector are used here. If you see that this is a light tight box is there, a glass prism is here and glass sheet is here and aluminum sheet is this. These are electrons. When the falling this and the camera will detect all the lights bluish glow when the intense beam of electron is involved. Some of the advantages. The most important advantage is that its efficiency is very high and high count rates. The duration of light pulse at any point is vanishingly small, less than or equal to 10 raised to power 10 seconds. Yeah, it means that these detectors are fast detectors as compared to others. Third one is the intensity of light emitted by the incident particles depend upon the velocity of the particles. Next, the directional emission of light with an angle depend upon velocity of the incident particles. Limitations of the Cherenkov counters. For slow moving particle, these detectors are ineffective. These detectors cannot count the rates. Second, these counters are highly directional because the Cherenkov radiations are emitted only in the forward cones. That's for today's lecture. In the next lecture, we will discuss the numerical problems, some solved or some unsolved, the conceptual problem. After that, I will give you some worksheets related to this chapter, some review questions and some long answer type questions which are very important for the examination point of view. Thank you once again.